Marty Schmidt. My wife and I have been members of Faith Church for several years now. I actually met my wife, Terry, in 5th grade band. We're going to be celebrating our 47th wedding anniversary this August. We have 2 great kids, Andrew and Ashley, and we're Yaya and Papa to 7 grandchildren. And I'm a convicted felon. Right out of high school, I started working at the local bank. I was very involved in the 2 communities that the bank had offices in. Things were going good, had a lot of customers. I was a go-to guy. I was really, in retrospect, the big man on campus. And then my life changed. In 2007, 2008, as you all know, the banking world was turned upside down. I had a customer in which I had incorrectly and knowingly extended some of his loans. And in October of 2009, this was discovered and the bank asked me to resign. Unbeknownst to me, they had turned it over to the FBI with the charge of falsifying bank records. And all of a sudden, I'm at my new employer and sitting at my desk, and the receptionist comes in and says, "There's 2 people here to see you." And it was the FBI. The statute of limitations on something like that was 5 years, which meant that, if the FBI didn't charge me within that 5 years, everything would go away. And that was just a very, very tough time because the uncertainty of everything. It was always in the back of our minds. At some point, my wife and I thought, you know what, this is gonna go away. Nothing's gonna happen. 4 years and 362 days later, I got indicted. And at that time, I was looking at 5 years as a sentence. Thought the world was caving in. Rumors were flying around. I was angry, embarrassed, depressed. I was so worried about, what's the church gonna think of me? What's my family gonna think of me? What are my grandchildren gonna think of me someday? All those things ran through my mind. And you always feel, you go to the local post office, you think they're talking about you. It was incredibly hard. About halfway through the statute of limitations period, we were at our attorney's in Chicago. And the attorney got up and I said, "Terry, you can leave me if you want. You didn't ask for this." Her response is, "You're an idiot, I love you."
I am Terry Schmidt, the loving wife to Martin Schmidt Jr., Marty, who I am so very proud to have the privilege of being his wife and the mother of our children. Marty has been admired in this community since his days of being a star athlete in high school to his taking a job offer at the local bank that was family owned. The most important thing here to talk about is that it was the love of my life, Marty, that I owe my faith and growth in God to. This man has, even through all of this, continues to manage to help me keep my faith in God.
I realized how weak I was spiritually. I admitted to everything. I pleaded guilty. I was sentenced to 8 months. Ironically, the judge had nothing but great things to say. The prosecutor had nothing but great things to say. For me to get over 200 character letters was amazing. But I think it was because of the timing. He had to set an example. And in retrospect, I think it was a blessing that it went on so long because, I was initially looking at 5 years, now all of a sudden it becomes 8 months. That's huge. The judge made it very clear, I want Marty to go somewhere where his family and friends can visit him often. And that's why I ended up in Terre Haute. A member from Faith Beecher gave me a Bible, soft cover, you can't have hard covers. So I really dug into the Bible on a daily basis. Went to every possible church service I could go to. "For I know the plans I have for you," declares the Lord. "Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future." I met some of the most amazing men I'm ever going to meet in my life. Christians. Guys who have been in the system for 30 years. But some of the most religious people I've ever met in my life. The church had a going away party for me. They had a welcome home party with some pastors from Faith Church. Another thing was, I got a really good friend who, before I left for Terre Haute, he said, Marty, you're gonna have a job waiting for you when you get back. And not only did I have a job waiting for me, I had a truck purchased. The outpouring of love was incredible.
We say if God has led us to it, He will get us through it. His faith was strong before this and is even stronger now, again, for which I am always in awe of him. I know this letter is long, but I truly wanted you to know the man he is, and this only begins to touch the surface.
When I look back at the whole story, God was just all over it. Gonna humble you, and I want you to be different. My faith's never been stronger. I look back and I just say, this is the way I was, and I look at the way I was and I look at the way I am now. I have a different life. I have a whole new life. And it kind of reminds me that's what Easter's all about. It's this new life that we've all been blessed with, that we need to grasp and we need to share it with others. Jesus' resurrection gives us a whole new life. We're dead before that. We're alive now.